Okay, today we're learning the Gemara of Rav Khana, Daf Kuf Yud Zayin Amud Aleph. The Gemara says like this: Ahu Gavra Ba'Ababoy Achvoy Ativno DeChavre. There was a man that wanted to inform, to be a moiser, to give over the pile of wheat, of grain, of his friend to the Nochrim. They should take it away. He wanted to be a moiser to tell him where to go to take an easy target of stealing from somebody his grain. Also, the Kama to Rav. So he came to Rav, and he wanted to Rav to give him a heter for that. Can I show the goyim where they could go take some grain over there from my friend? Amala lo sachva v'lo sachva. You have no right. Even let's say they somehow, if you wouldn't show them, they would maybe go after his money. He says, no, you have no right to go and cause damage, property damage, financial damage to your friend. It's moister moment chaveira. It's a big aveira, one of the biggest aveiras. Anyway, so Rav told him, b'shum oifen, you cannot do that. So he told to Rav with a big chutzpah, machvino. He told me not to. I will do it. He says. Yosef Rav Khana came to Rav. Rav Khana was a Talmud of Rav, was sitting there when he saw somebody being so chutzpahdik. Rav told him, don't do it, and he says, I will do it. The Gemara says, Shamte lekua minei. He took and he broke his neck, and he killed him. He broke the neck of the person because Rav told you not to. You're telling, no, I will do it. So it's a chutzpahdik. He broke his neck. Kore Rav Ilove, when Rav saw what Rav Khana did, he told the pasuk in Yeshaya, Bonecho ulfu shochvu b'rosh kol chutzos kasoyim michmor. Yeshaya Novi says in Nevuah, there's going to be a time, going to be very bad, and it tells over there that your children are going to be dying on the streets. Kasoy michmor. What's soy? Soy, there is an axe that's called a domestic axe, and there is an axe called a wild axe. Soy, it's a wild axe. So he says they're going to die like a wild axe, which is they catch them in a net, and it says up there when people catch in a net a wild axe, they're without rachmanos, they have no rachmanos on him, they're going to kill him. So same thing over here. He says this man wanted to tell the Nochrim this guy has a grain, they could rob him over there, they could steal it from him. They have no rachmanos, they're going to take all from him, they're going to make him broke. So they said you did mato is kevan shnafal b'michmer and merachmin all, and people catch this wild axe in a net. They have no rachmanos. Abmamonim shel Yisrael. Something the Jewish money kevan shnafal b'da ovde kechovim and merachmin all. When the Nochrim get a hold of the money of a Jew, they have no rachmanos. They'll take it all. So basically, we wanted to moister moment chaveiroi la'akum. You wanted to give over, to inform and give over, cause them financial damage, and the halacha moiser is chayav misa. So, like Rav in a way told him that this man brought it upon himself what Rav Khana did to him. Omar leil Rav Khana. Rav told Rav Khana, Ada idno habu parsoe de lo kapdo ashvichus domim. Says till now in Bovel, the rulers in Bovel, they were the Persians, and they over there you could get away with a murder with them. Now we have Greeks, the ruling in Eretz Yisrael, the kapde ashvichus domim. They're very careful, and when they see somebody killed somebody, they're going to go after him. Merodin. They call him murder. That's what most commentaries say. They call him a murderer. Well, I thought it's more than that. Merodin meaning rebellious, meaning they're afraid if we're going to let such a thing, somebody get away with a murder, it might eventually hurt us, the government, because he's going to want to be rebellious, do a revolution. That's why they went after them right away. So anyway, he told them, since the Greeks now are very careful, when somebody kills somebody, they're going to go after him. Kum sakal arad Yisrael. Go and run to Eretz Yisrael. Hide over there. They shouldn't hold you accountable. The Kabil Aloch, the Lotiksha the Rabbi Yochanan Shavashnin. But take upon yourself, when you're going to go to Eretz Yisrael, obviously Rav Khana was a scholar, he's going to go and learn in yeshiva. And those days, the time of Rav in Bovel, the Rav was a Rav in Bovel, he was a Rosh Yeshiva in Bovel. Rabbi Yochanan was a Rosh Yeshiva in Eretz Yisrael, the author of the Yerushalmi. He told me, when you go to him, he says, take upon yourself that you're not going to ask any questions to Rabbi Yochanan for 7 years. Now, what's the idea of that, not to ask for 7 years? So the Meforshim explained, there were still, even though Rav Khana had some kind of justification for what he did, but it wasn't perfect. Why? Rav was there, his Rebbe. He should have asked him a shayla if he could do that. He didn't ask him. It was b'fchinas moira hoiro b'fnei Rabba. It was like you're taking the law to your hands. That's why I needed some kapara. The kapara would be you go to the Rav Yochanan's shiur for 7 years. You cannot open your mouth, which is for a guy like Rav Khana, a big scholar. When he has a question, not to ask, not to argue, it was very hard. But that's going to be your kapara. That's one explanation. The other explanation, even in this case, it means this man that wanted to inform about his friend, about his grain, and the goyim should take away the grain, even though it's a moiser, it's informer, it's a very big aveira, but maybe he could have, instead of killing him, just hurt him, not kill him. So anyway, but different pirushim will be, that's why I told, maybe you go there and you need kapara, you need cleansing, and your kapara will be, you'll be sitting in the shiur of Rav Yochanan, and don't ask questions for 7 years. Okay, so Rav Khana went to Eretz Yisrael. Ozal, Ashkechel Resh Lakish, he saw Resh Lakish, the Yosef Kamasam, Sivta the Yomel Rabbana. Resh Lakish was a Talmud and a friend of Rabbi Yochanan and a brother-in-law. But he was a Talmud mainly. And when Rabbi Yochanan finished the shiur, to tell the shiur to everybody in the yeshiva, Resh Lakish used to review the shiur and explain it to everybody. And when he came, he saw Resh Lakish was reviewing the shiur of Rabbi Yochanan of that day. So when he came exactly that day, he didn't even read Rabbi Yochanan yet. He just went straight to hear the review from Resh Lakish. Omar Luhu, Resh Lakish Hecher, Necha. He didn't know who Resh Lakish was. He told him, where is Resh Lakish? He heard about him. Omru Le, Amai, why do you need to know where is Resh Lakish? Omar Luhu, Hi Kushya, Hi Piruka, Hi Piruka. He started telling them, there's a question on what he says, there's an answer over here. He started reviewing, taking apart the whole shiur and giving his comments on it. Omar Le Resh Lakish, they told Resh Lakish, this guy is a big Talmud Chacham. He has, on this shiur, he has a lot of comments, questions and answers. When Resh Lakish heard this, Ozal Resh Lakish, Omar Le Rabbi Yochanan, he told Rabbi Yochanan, he saw the comments, he saw the questions, the answers. He told Rabbi Yochanan, Ari Olam Bovel, a big lion came out from Bovel. He called Rav Khana a lion. When he saw, he was a big scholar. La'ayin mar b'mesivta de l'mochar. He says, when you prepare the shiur tomorrow, Resh Lakish told Rabbi Yochanan, look at the shiur well, because this guy is going to ask you a lot of questions. So prepare the shiur. L'mochar osvua b'dore kama. Rabbi Yochanan in the yeshiva had in front of him 7 rows of talmidim. The junior talmidim, they were more in the back. The senior and the higher level, senior and junior was by level of learning. The senior ones were closer to him. It was 7 rows. They put him on the front row in front of Rabbi Yochanan. They were all the big talmidim chachamim sitting. Osvua b'dore kama. Kama de Rabbi Yochanan. It's in front of Rabbi Yochanan. Omar shmata v'lo akshay. Rabbi Yochanan said the shiur. He didn't say one word because Rav told him, you don't say anything. Shmata v'lo akshay. And another shiur, and he doesn't say anything. Slowly, every time he went a day, he didn't ask anything. He told him, go back one. They told him to go back another row, till he was at the last row over there, like with all the beginners. Yeah. Amar Rabbi Yochanan Resh Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan told Resh Lakish, Ari Shomarta Nasa Shual. The lion you told me came from Bovel. He became a fox. He told me it's a lion. He doesn't ask anything. There's an answer that looks like he's not participating with us. So the Chafetz Chaim says why it was not Lashon Hara what Rabbi Yochanan said. It looked like it wasn't a nice comment. He told me he's not as great as you told me. It looks like Lashon Hara. So he says it was already known since people saw he doesn't ask anything. It's not as. So maybe it was known to everybody. It looks like on the surface this guy he just said what it looks to everybody. No, everybody noticed he's not as great as you represented. So it wasn't something they did not know. Everybody, yeah. Anyway, the Gemara says Rav Khana. Omar Rav Khana, when he heard this, first of all, he saw how he was embarrassed. They're putting him now back like he was a big Talmud, but he didn't show it. They put him all the way in the back. And then he heard how they called him a fox instead of a lion. It's very, very insulting. He says here, Avo, he davened to Hashem, he says, Alavai, Da'ane Sheva Dore Lehevu, Chiluf Sheva Shnin. Domali Rav. Rav told me, for 7 years, don't open your mouth. This 7 rows that they put me back should replace the 7 years. Like I went to 7, even though it wasn't 7 years, it was in a few days the whole thing took place. He says it should count like 7 years I didn't speak, because each row I count for a year. He says, and then he says that's how we decided. Let it be like this, daven to Hashem, and he decided that's how it's going to be. And Come Akari, stood up. That day was the back seat. Omarle, he told Rav Yochanan, Nehader Mar Beresha. Please, I ask you, Your Honor, to review the beginning of the Shiur. Omar Shmata v'Akshay. So he said the Shiur and he asked him a question. Omar Shmata v'Akshay. Says another Shiur, again challenged him. Adu Kama Bedora Kama. Each question he asked, he brought him closer. Oh, come closer. Till after 7 questions, he brought them again to the front row. So this guy, the big Talmud Chacham. And he continued now. He's sitting in the front row. Rabbi Yochanan saying a Shiur again is challenging him. Says Rabbi Yochanan, the Gemara says, Hava Yosef Asheva Bistarke. He was sitting on 7 mats to make it comfortable for Rabbi Yochanan. Shalfa Lechada Bistarke. For every question he asked now when in the front row, Rabbi Yochanan told the people to take out 1 mat because he did it for himself now. Rabbi Yochanan realized, I put this guy in the back. He has a reason. It was a reason why he was quiet. He's a Talmud Chacham. So I in a way, Rabbi Yochanan felt guilty. Why did I do this to him? So he's such a Talmud Chacham. For every question now he asked me, he took off 1 mat. After 7th question, Ad the Shalfa Lekule Bistarke Mitusei. They took off all the mats under Rabbi Yochanan. Ad the Yosef Rabbi Yochanan started sitting on those days they used to sit on the ground. He just had some cushions to make it count. Now he was sitting on the ground. No cushions, nothing. Meaning, Rabbi Yochanan feel humiliated now. Omar Shmata v'Akshalei. Rabbi Yochanan gavar saba habe umasreche gevinei. Rabbi Yochanan was already an old man, and his eyelashes were so big they used to cover his eyes. So you didn't even see who was this man in front of him. Omar lei. Dalul enoi v'achzei. He told his Talmidim, please pick up my eyelashes. I'm going to look at him. The Gemara even described Dalul v'mikchalta de kaspo. He had a silver. They used to have a silver a piece over there that they picked up with that silver piece his eyelashes, and he looked at Rav Khana. He was wondering, who's this big lion over here? Who's the big Talmud Chacham? Chose the prita sifsose. Rav Khana's lips, they had a cut, a split, and it looks like you look at him like he's laughing. He was not. Just that's how he had it when he was born like this. Yeah, a scar, a split. Yeah. Sovar achucha kamachayver. Rabbi Yochanan told he's laughing, making fun of me. He's like laughing at me, like he's looking down at me. That's what Rabbi Yochanan felt. He didn't know. Chol shadaita. Rabbi Yochanan felt chalishus. I mean, he felt like 2 cents. He felt like this guy coming now over here, and he's like looking down at me. V'nach nafshe. Rav Khana passed away. Some scholars. There were no among them Rabbi Yochanan. There was another one. Many of them, and then we see Rabbi Lezer Agodel was like this. There was no nonsense. You didn't want to. We learned about it. Sure, read about it yesterday. And no one you want to have kpeda, especially if you're big tzaddikim like this. You don't want to get on the wrong side from them. And when they have a kpeda, when they feel hurt, it could be very, very damaging. So Rav Khana passed away from this, from the pain of Rabbi Yochanan. Rav Khana passed away. So. The mocher, the next day, Rav Khana passed away. They buried him. So it comes to the shiur. He's not there. Rav Khana in the shiur. Amalu Rabbi Yochanan Rabbanan Chazitzul Bavlochi. Did you see this Babylonian? What they did to me? I mean, Rabbi Yochanan wanted to justify what happened of you because he was making fun of me. Like it's not the recheretz. Amru lei. I told Rabbi Yochanan, Darke hachim. He didn't make fun of you. That's how his face looks like. You look at his lips, it looks like he's laughing. It's not. He was not laughing at you. So Rabbi Yochanan heard this, he felt guilty. I was in pain because of my pain. He died, but he wasn't even laughing at me. It was a mistake over here, a misunderstanding. He went to the cave where they buried Rav Khana. We saw by many tzaddikim in those days, in the cave, there used to be sometimes big tzaddikim, a big snake would come, and a big snake, and it would surround the entrance of the entrance to the cave. It would not let anybody in, like he was the guard over there. That's what happened by Rav Khana. Came a big snake, and he made like a fence over there with his body, and he wouldn't let anybody in. When Rabbi Yochanan saw this, he told to the snake, Amar, he said like this. He told him, Amar le, achna, snake. Open your mouth, like open the door for me, and the Rebbe wants to come to see his student. A rabbi told Talmud. The rabbi wants to see his Talmud. The snake didn't open. He realized he's saying something wrong, Rabbi Yochanan. He says that Nikonas chover etzel chover. Okay, I'm not the rabbi, I'm a friend to friend. Tell the snake, a friend wants to come here to see his friend. Maybe he thought maybe Rav Khana is not in the level to be my Talmud, maybe he's a friend to me. So he said, a friend wants to come see a friend. The snake would not open. Would not open up. He was holding his mouth and the tail inside the mouth and was not moving. Yikonas Talmud etzel harav. So he says, the Talmud, the student wants to go see his Rebbe. He called himself Rabbi Yochanan, the student to Rav Khana. Maybe he's so great, I don't know. And maybe that's how I have to, maybe the snake will then open up. And Pasach, then the snake opened up and he went. Meaning, so Rav Khana was so great that the snake will not let Rabbi Yochanan into that cave unless he's admitted that he is compared to Rav Khana. He's the Talmud, Rav Khana, he's the Rabbi. The Gemara says, Boy Rachem ev ukme. See, we're great people. He davened him and he brought him back to life. It's such a, that's obviously, we cannot understand such a thing. They were great holy people. He brought them back to life. Omar lei. Rav Yochanan told Rav Khana now, I hava yadana, the darke demar hochi, if I would know, you honor, now he calls them you honor. You didn't laugh at me, that's how you look like it. On your lips, you look like you're laughing. He says, Lo chol shadaita, I would not feel bad, and it would not happen to you. Hashto, leisamar bado. Now he says, since I know that, please, it says, come back to the yeshiva and we'll learn together. Let's forget everything. I brought you back to life. Let's go back to the yeshiva to learn. Amar le Rav Khana told Rav Yochanan, if you're going to be able to daven to Hashem with your koyach atfilah, I mean, you brought me back to life, your big koyach atfilah, I would not. That's not going to happen again. That you're going to be ever angry at me and I'm going to die. Then, if you give me such a promise, I'm going to go with you. And if not, I'm not going to go. The lotion of here, mashman, I'm going to say in a minute. We have a few minutes. Why I'm saying this? It's not only if you're not going to have. Rashi says, if I'm going to ask you a question, and so you promise me you're never going to get angry. But the lotion over here, he says, the lotion over here, the Gemara, if you could daven, in case I'm going to ask a question, in case you're going to get angry at me, I should not die again. The Chorah, you could have said, promise me you're not going to get angry at me. Promise me you're not going to put your anger. Mashma, you're asking for some kind of prayer. So if you hear Mashma, he asked Rabbi Yochanan, I'm willing to go with you only if you promise me you could daven to Hashem. I should live forever. Like who? Like Pinchas ben Elazar. We're going to soon see the similarity between Rav Khana and Pinchas ben Elazar. Anyway, but Derech Efshar, we could say that he asked him, if you cannot promise me this, that I'm going to live forever because I died once already, I tasted the process of dying. If you cannot promise me, if you cannot daven Hashem, I should live forever, then I'm not coming with you. Ho'il v'choliv shato. He says, I already went through this. Some saying you didn't want to go. Some saying you didn't want to go through this again. So you rather stay over there where he is now. The different direction what happened over here. The Gemara says, "Choliv Taira Ukme Shaila Kol Tzveket Havele Upashin." Anyway, that moment before, again, either he went away. We're going to see soon what happened with Rav Khana. But before either he went back to where he was in the cave or went away, Rabbi Yochanan asked him all these questions. Rabbi Yochanan, all the questions, yes, in the Talmud, he reviewed it. He knew Rav Khana is a big scholar, and Rav Khana answered him for all these questions. I know in Masechah Sukkah, Rabbi Yochanan says, "Dilchoin Amre Dilchoin Hi." Rabbi Yochanan always held that the scholars of Eretz Yisrael, he's the author of the Yerushalmi, they were greater than the Babylonians, because the reason for it, because people in Eretz Yisrael, they were not in Golus, they were there, they had more Yishuv Adas, they had more peace of mind, calmness. So he felt Babylonians they were in Golus and they were more busy with Parnas, they were poorer. They thought maybe they're not as great and they're learning like we are. Now he told his Talmidim, Dilchoin Amre. I used to say it's yours. I mean the Israelis, they are the real scholars. Now he says Dilchoin Hi. Now I'm telling you, they are greater than us. They are the Babylonian, because he saw Rav Khana's knowledge so big. He says they're even greater than us. Anyway, what happened to Rav Khana? It's not clear of here. So some saying he went back to the cave and he died. He didn't want to go to this again. And some saying, and Rashi among them, he went back to Eretz Yisrael. I'm sorry, he went back to Bovel. He went back to Bovel. He went back to Bovel. Now, we have a few minutes, so you know what? I'm going to leave the Bovel part. How do we know there's a strong proof that's in the Yerushalmi? Maybe we'll do that next time. We have a Shiur Ein Yaakov. I'm going to say, how do we know he went back to Bovel? So now I'm going to say that when I learned this Gemara, I said there's a lot of similarities over here. We're just coming from Parshas Pinchas. Pinchas, he saw something wrong, he took action, and he killed the Bala Aveira. Rav Khana saw something wrong by the basin of Rav, he killed the man. It looks like they took the law into their hand. Over here, Pinchas, Hashem gave him a reward to live forever. Over here, he made Tchias HaMeisim to him. Like it's an opinion of Chayus more. It's not normal. We don't get up. We don't see the Tchias HaMeisim. Once in a while, we heard stories in the history with Tchias HaMeisim, but it was very, very unusual, not one in a million even. And Tchias HaMeisim will have a Mashiach going to come. We'll have all Tchias HaMeisim. So, and then it looks like from his prayer, like I said, if you could promise him to live forever, again, he's asking for something like Pinchas ben Elazar, to live forever. So what I did is I went to Seder HaDoros, and I did find this. I thought maybe if it's anything like this, he'll say it. I know a little bit the style. So he brings like this, and Seder HaDoros. He brings from Sef Kosav HaYuchsin. He brings like this. He brings the Gemara in Kedushin, and Daf Mem. The Gemara says, Rav Khana v'mazmin dikulei. He was selling, he was selling a pieces of trees, Tavate or baskets, yeah. Tavate matroniso. Came matroniso, came a goyish woman, a rich woman, and Rav Khana was very nice. The Gemara B'Metzia says Rav Khana was very nice looking, and she wanted to have an aveira with him. Let's do aveira. Amar lei izel ve'ikshut nafshei, says I'm going to go. I'm going to make sure to take a shower, dress nicely to this event. Meanwhile, he says, Solik v'nofal me'igra la'aro. And he went to the roof and he jumped. He didn't want to do the Aveira. He said, I'd rather die and not do this Aveira. This way she let him go, he went to it. The Gemara says, Osa Eliyahu v'kabla. Eliyahu Hanavi came and he picked him up. He shouldn't fall on the ground. It saved his life. There's another relation with Eliyahu Hanavi and Rav Khana. V'omar le'atrechaton tof parsa. He told Eliyahu Hanavi, you made me now work hard for you to come 400 parsois, which is about 1,600 kilometers. Each parsa is 4 kilometers. 1,600 kilometers to come to save your life. Amar lei, so Rav Khana told him, Mi goramli ani yuseh. He says, what caused me to work in my job, my poverty? I need parnosa. I'm selling till I make this lady, and she wants to avera with me. So if that's the case, Yavle shifa the dinner. They gave him a bunch of gold. He says, here is money. You don't have to do this anymore. I don't want you to come to such a test. Kosav Gamkin. So he writes over there, this Sefer Yuchsin. Matronisa also Cosby. This Matronisa, she was the Gilgul of Cosby that Pinchas killed. He says, Rav Kahana nitzes Pinchas ben Aaron a Kohen. According to this, Rav Khana was a Kohen, which is, we're going to talk about it. It's controversial if he was a Kohen or not. If he was not, we're going to talk about it next year. But according to this, either he was a Kohen, and now he says, Lo yo Kohen, Domar Ilonises Kahanto. According to this opinion, now he was not a Kohen, but he was married to a Kohenes. Again, we're going to talk about, like I said, next year, but he says, but he was the Nitzutz of Pinchas ben Elazar. That's why they call him also Kahana, Miloshen Kohen. Pinchas ben Elazar Kohen. And she, this Matronita, which is the Gilgul of Cosby, she wanted right now to make an Aveira with him, because in the previous Gilgul, he killed Cosby. It was his Neshama, his Nitzutz, yeah? That's the Eliyahu was a Pinchas. He was the one coming now to save him, because, okay, so we see from here, so according to this, we could say that what Rav Khana really asked Rav Yochanan when he wanted to say, come back to yeshiva, only if you give me a promise, daven to Hashem that I should live forever, like Pinchas ben Elazar, because he was the Nitzutz of Pinchas ben Elazar. The Meister Rav Yochanan couldn't do it. So we'll see, according to Rashi, whether he brings Rai from Yerushalmi, he went back to Bovel and he lived for many years. And like I said, the story of Rav Khana, we'll see more next year.